when I say the things that I say, they just don't travel that well from my brain to my mouth. I got a lisp and I got a big tongue and my lips are big and I don't open my mouth wide enough.
Language is not math, so the rules can change and often very much do change. I'm not calling you stupid because we both know that you're not stupid.
Well, we all know that I'm not stupid.
I'm saying you sound dumb.
Nobody is talking about being fiscally conservative because that's what Republicans love to talk about. They love to talk about how they're fiscally conservative. Which is an oxymoron because you can't be fiscally conservative. An oxymoron is when I had friends that said that they were socially liberal and fiscally conservative. And I was like, you can't be both.
That's not an oxymoron, though.
Okay. What's the actual definition of oxymoron then?
It's two opposite things put together.
Yes. Those are two opposite things put together. He said the person said that they were socially liberal and fiscally conservative.
Those are not two opposite things.
But they are, in not even the theory. In practice, they are polar opposites.
Explain.
Okay. If you are socially liberal, then that means that you believe in social programs.
No, they're talking about, when they say socially liberal, they're talking about, we're going to let you do whatever you want to do in your household. We don't care about your gender identity. We believe Black Lives Matter. That's what they mean by socially liberal. They're not saying that they believe in social programs and safety net. They actually are saying the opposite of that. So what they're actually saying is not quite an oxymoron. It's hypocritical because you can't be against social programs but say that you support people. That I would say, in that regard, it might be something of an oxymoron.
That's the point I'm trying to make. And because if you say that you're socially liberal, in its definition, socially liberal means that you believe in social programs. I don't care what their interpretation of it is. I'm saying what the actual interpretation is. If you're socially liberal, that means you believe in social programs. We gonna really debate on this?
Yeah, because social liberalism is a political philosophy and a variety of liberalism that endorses social justice. To your point, social services, a mixed economy, and the expansion of civil and political rights.
Okay. So let's go with the programs and the mixed economy. If you take those two premises of being socially liberal, then you can't be fiscally conservative.
You are correct. Then it is oxymoronic.
See, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm willing to say I'm wrong when I'm wrong. I needed you to explain.
Yeah.
I needed you to explain. And now that, yes, you are correct. It is oxymoronic.
That's like somebody came to me one time and they said that I used the word that me and you were getting in a debate about, it was a word that I always use. Not hyperbolic, which I love that word, by the way.
You like hypocritical.
Oh, hypocritical is one of my favorite words of all time. But it was a word that hubris. That's what it was, hubris. And they were like, you didn't use it right. And I was like, yes, I did. Let's break out the definitions. And I did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't always say words well.
You don't always say sentences well. But sometimes you know what you're talking about, and you are correct.
I know
oxymoronic.
I know what I'm intending to say when I say the things that I say. They just don't travel that well from my brain to my mouth. I got a lisp and I got a big tongue and my lips are big and I don't open my mouth wide enough. I guess when I talk. Plus I talk out the side of my mouth. And my mind is moving faster than my lips can move. It's a lot of things going on.
That was a long list that you just rattled off there for reasons why you don't talk good.
But I do
quite a list.
But I do know words and I know the definitions, and I'm quite literal with the words that I use.
Meaning?
I use the literal definition of the words, not what people,
Okay.
not what people have morphed the word to mean in its current,
Yeah.
in our current state of being.
Well, here's the thing. Language is not math. So the rules can change and often very much do change. So you are using a definition of a thing, but it might be a past definition that definition might be deprecated, and you might be using it in the wrong context now. So you do have to understand that I'm just telling you what you can make whatever face you want to make. I'm just telling you the thing.
Webster's tells me the definition. That's the definition.
But it changes in Webster's too.
Well, and that's those are the definitions I follow. It's the Webster's definition. So I'll be checking the words. I'm like, did I use this right? Yeah, I use it right. Because people always want to argue with me with the words that I use. And I'm like, look, I don't just say words and I don't know what they mean.
You know what? I think maybe it's just your voice or cadence where it sounds like you're using a word and it's just wrong. And even though it's right, when I hear it, I'm like, that don't sound right.
So what you don't expect something that intelligent to come out of my mouth. That's what you basically saying.
No, you know how like my voice makes me sound like a jerk?
Well,
yeah. So
because
it's like
you are.
No, like I say things and then people be like, I sound like a jerk, but I'm actually being genuine. Like,
yeah, genuinely a jerk.
No, I'm not trying to be a jerk at all. Like, it'll be like how y'all used to say, I apologize. I'll be like, sorry. First of all, my apologies don't sound like that.
Your apologies are absolute. You know what? You just apologized recently on this episode.
Literally 2 seconds ago.
No, it was longer than 2 seconds ago.
Okay. 2 minutes ago. Fine.
Yeah, it was about 4 or 5 minutes ago. But
whatever.
That's me being literal again.
Yeah.
But when we were younger, it used to be like, Jay, you did this. And you would be like, sorry.
Yeah.
You was like, that's genuine. I was like,
it was genuine, but the way my voice sounds when I say sorry, it sounds like I'm not being genuine. That's just my voice. So something about your voice when you say words, I'm like,
So you're saying
those don't sound right.
You're saying that my voice makes me, if your voice makes you come off as a jerk, my voice makes me come off as dumb. That's what you basically saying, because you're saying, well, that word don't sound right. So you're saying that my voice, it don't seem like something that intelligent should come out of that voice. That's basically what you're saying.
Well, that's what you said. And you can draw whatever conclusions you want to draw.
What you said is what I say doesn't seem right because of my voice. You're saying that what I said in the context of what I say things is like, it don't seem like that's the way it should be. Now that I got the definition, Bruce, you're right. However, it don't seem right coming from you. Yes. Yeah, so you're calling me and my voice stupid. That's what you pay.
I'm not calling you stupid because we both know that you're not stupid.
Well, we all know that I'm not stupid.
You sound dumb.
You know what? There are thousands of people that listen and watch this podcast that don't feel that way.
And also people I'm joking.
No, she's not. This has been a recurring theme in the family since we were kids.
I have never said your voice sounds dumb. I've never said that to you in life.
You and our brother used to be like, oh, Bruce, don't worry about it. Why don't you go have some graham crackers or something? Y'all always used to say that stuff back in the day. I was like, wait a minute.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.